It's again time to sort out the NFL AFC playoff picture in the most geeky way possible with spreadsheets. Heading into week 13. As usual, the Playoff Computer app is used as the base of this analysis. If you are a fantasy sports addict and want all sorts of geeky data for your leagues, including the NFL style pass to clinch, check it out on the Play Store. Note this exercise has no bias for or against any teams other than my occasional lame attempts at humor. Only actual results, tiebreaker records, and the nuances of remaining schedules are used to tell us where things stand. With that being said, the team in the AFC with the highest statistical chance to make the playoffs is once again
We're number one. We're number one.
The Kansas City Chiefs beat the Panthers to get to 10 wins and enjoyed the Chargers losing, so their division chances once again climbed, putting them just a hair above the Bills for being the closest to locked in. They are realistically in and have a 9 of 10 chances to be the AFC West winner, and they can officially clinch a spot this week with a win and either a Dolphins, Chargers, or Broncos loss. For what it's worth, scenarios here will not include the possibility of tie games at least until the final week. Those types of scenarios really turn things into an indecipherable mess for something that happens so rarely. The Buffalo Bills were on bye, so with the Chiefs win, they slipped to number 2 on the list, but almost as much of a near certainty to make the playoffs. However, the projected safe win target for a wild card snuck up to 10 wins now, meaning for the moment the Bills have lost their realistically in status and need another win to get it back. They host the 49ers this week to get it, or more, as they also can officially clinch a spot this week. A win and a Dolphins loss would give them the AFC East. The Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the team with the best division record in the AFC North. And of course, I am talking about the Cleveland Browns. That put a slight dent on the Steelers' playoff hopes, down to only 96%. Did cut a significant hole in their division odds. Ravens now a half game back. Computer guessing 12 wins is what is going to be the safe mark for the division. With the 10-win target for a wild card, the Steelers need 2 more wins. I'd say they could count on one from the Browns in 2 weeks, but that didn't work out so well this first time. Go to Cincinnati this week. Must win for the Bengals. As of now, I won't concern ourselves with looking at the Steelers' wildcard tiebreak situation, but certainly will revisit it if they stumble again. The Baltimore Ravens got their group back with a big win over the Chargers, combined with the Steelers' loss that puts them back in serious contention for the division, 37%. And are above 9 and 10 to make the playoffs. The win over the Chargers combined with one earlier over the Broncos gives them head-to-head advantages over 2 of the likely competitors for wildcard spots. They play the Eagles this week before their bye, likely need 2 more wins, have the Giants after the bye for one of them. The Strouds, with an upset loss to the Titans, are not looking so destined for the playoffs anymore. Good thing for them is the Colts lost as well, so still a very comfortable lead over the Colts owing to having swept that season series. 9 out of 10 to win the division. Almost 0 odds to make a wild card. Their likely safe target for the division is just 9 wins, so that's 2 more needed. Do get the Jaguars this week to try again to beat a bad team. As long as they keep this lead against the Colts for the division, I'm not going to worry too much about talking about their wild card tiebreakers. The Los Angeles Chargers slipped one spot with the loss to the Ravens to come in at number 6. Division odds dwindled back to unlikely, 85% to make the playoffs. But with the AFC safe mark creeping up to 10, it now looks like they will likely need to finish 3-3 to make it in. Tough slate for the next 4. Falcons, Chiefs, Buccaneers, Broncos. A loss this week puts them into the danger zone. Keeping ahead of the Broncos in division record could be crucial down the stretch. And those Denver Broncos took care of the Raiders to keep hold of the 7th spot. 3-4 odds to make the playoffs. Don't have a good conference record. If they fall into a tiebreak for a wildcard spot, that might be a problem. They play the Colts and Bengals later on, which could be big games to try to keep from falling into a tiebreak. Browns this week. Who knows what'll happen anymore with that team. The Miami Dolphins are creeping into the picture, riding a 3-game winning streak, the latest over the Patriots. That gives them a 1-4 chance to make it in, but likely it will need to go 5-1 to get there. Tough match in Green Bay this week. If they can pull off a win there, then things get a whole lot easier with remaining games, including 2 of the Jets. Lost earlier to the Colts, which could in theory hurt them later in a tiebreak, but for now they have to worry about just getting the wins. And the Indianapolis Colts swap places with the Dolphins after losing to the Lions. Playoff odds dropped to 16%. Now likely need to win out. Do have a mostly winnable schedule to do just that. Patriots this week before their bye. Then that what could be the make or break game against the Broncos before finishing nicely with Titans, Giants, and Jaguars. The Cincinnati Bengals stayed pat on their bye. Still just around 1-10 to make the playoffs. Now likely need to win out, which might be a problem with 2 games against the Steelers remaining, the first being this week. If they can pull a win out of the hat, then we can take a closer look at their chances. Okay, this hypothetical is actually a repeat from last week, as everything that was in it for week 12 happened. Looking at a possible fight for the last wildcard spot if the top 6 teams hold steady. Now, mostly figuring the 4 of them would win the winnable games and lose the tougher ones, things could be very interesting at the end. If the Broncos beat the Browns and then the big game with the Colts, but then lose out to some good teams, they would finish 9-8. For the Colts, if they can beat the underprivileged Patriots, Titans, Giants, and Jaguars, with that possible loss to the Broncos, also end up at 9-8. The Dolphins with a loss to the Packers this week and the 49ers in a few weeks, but winning against the Jets, Texans, which doesn't look so difficult now, Browns and Jets, they also would end up at 9-8. The Bengals, they need to at least split with the Steelers. If they do that and win against the Broncos and also win some winnable games against the Cowboys, Titans, and Browns, that would put them at 9-8 as well. If all this ended up playing out with all 4 of them tied, we would skip the first head-to-head tiebreaker as they all wouldn't have played each other. And then for the second tiebreaker, it is conference record. And under this scenario, the Dolphins would take the spot. Obviously, it takes just one change to completely mess up this particular picture, but it gives us an idea how important the tiebreakers can be and how much the Broncos' conference record could cost them. Again, this relies on the Dolphins finishing strong. relies on everybody ending up 9-8 and not the 10-win safe mark. But the big games could be the Broncos versus the Colts and Broncos versus the Bengals. It is also quite easy to paint a picture of the Colts and Broncos finishing tied and that head-to-head game deciding it. Anyway, back to the teams. And the Tennessee Titans, even with the win against the Texans, find themselves being given the dreaded realistically out designation. And that is going to be a recurring theme from here on out. The Cleveland Browns also now are in the realistically out club. The New York Jets are also considered realistically out. But I don't want to hear anything about Aaron Rodgers being the problem. The Jacksonville Jaguars at 2-9 can be officially eliminated with a loss and a Chargers win and a Broncos win. The New England Patriots are officially out of the AFC East and will be officially out of playoff contention with a loss and several likely possibilities from other games. The Las Vegas Raiders are officially eliminated from the AFC West and will be eliminated from playoff contention with a loss. That is the AFC picture for now. Enjoy your day.